Social media. What is social media and how does it affect us? How does it change our behaviors? How does it affect our interactions with others? And how does it affect our health?
Social media is the biggest shift since the Industrial Revolution. It has taken over as the #1 activity on the web. Some huge social media outlets include Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Over 1 million new Twitter accounts are created each day. There are over 284 million monthly active Twitter users. There are also over 500 million tweets sent per day. On the other hand, Facebook has over 900 million users, and 93% of US adults are on Facebook. When it comes to YouTube, every minute 72 hours of video are uploaded. YouTube is also the second most used search engine. But how does social media affect teenagers? It can have a negative impact on teenagers' grades as they spend more time on the internet. It can also have effects on self-confidence and could also lead to bullying. Some positive effects could include talking to those who you most likely wouldn't have in the first place, being more socially aware, and also reading a lot more. 22% of Americans use social networking sites several times per day, so if you are using Twitter, for example, reading your timeline can add up. Overall, social media can have a varying effect on teenagers, and it depends on how often they use it and how they use it.
As social media has been growing over the past decade, nearly 2 decades, it has revolutionized our whole generation, especially the new millennia of children ages 5 to 20. It has impacted their social relationships, their health, and even their emotional level because of how interactive they are in social media. An average kid spends about 7 hours a day using social media sites, whether it's through TV, video games, or computer, reading, texting, writing, posting, sharing, and this is a constant trend between many young children, especially during our According age. To several studies on social media, one being from NY Daily News, it's mentioned that teens who spend more time on social media and lose their actual physical connection with their friends tend to lose that relationship with their friends completely because they spend so much time at home on social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, instead of actually going out and having physical real-world connections. When they have real connections with people, it's no longer the same. There's differences. People don't understand one another. They don't know how to communicate with one another either. Furthermore, then understanding people in real life becomes difficult because all you know is how to interact with one another on a screen. Social media has become a huge impact on people's grades as well because students invest more time using their phones throughout the day, throughout classes, scrolling through timelines, reading feeds, watching Snapchats, watching YouTube videos as well as going through the day, at night, late at night as well. Students are losing sleep because they're staying on their phone later, texting people, communicating through social media sites, when before social media sites were involved, kids would get sleep, the right amount of sleep, get the right amount of study done, focus, and education was important. We no longer do that. Study shows that the younger you are using social media, the more addicted you become to social media, and that becomes a common part of your life. And once that becomes a part of your life, it impacts your train of thought, your studies, and your methods, and you're no longer focusing on what you should be. Your brain is multitasking when it should be focusing on one subject at a time during the day when you're studying. However, when you're using social media sites constantly while you're trying to study, it actually limits your mind's ability to focus on one subject at a time and process that information properly. This results in negative grades, and it actually impacts students' studies overall. When you limit first world communications and focus on third world communications through social media, through internet, through screens, you're limiting your ability to be intimate with the person, open with the person, to understand the person at a higher level, at a better level. Using social media prevents this. So you lose your self-confidence in yourself, and you can no longer interact with people, and this results in a lack of trust, lack of stability, lack of one's ability to communicate at a stronger, more intimate level, thus resulting in less self-confidence.
Surprisingly, 5 to 10% of internet users are actually unable to control how much time they spend online. Though it's a psychological addiction as opposed to a substance addiction, brain scans of these people actually show a similar impairment of regions that those with drug dependence have. Specifically, there's a clear degradation of white matter in the regions that control emotional processing, attention, and decision-making. Because social media provides immediate rewards with very little effort required, your brain begins to rewire itself, making you desire these stimulations, and you begin to crave more of this neurological excitement after each interaction. Sounds a little like a drug,